Deep within the underworld, where the air was thick with the acrid smell of sulfur and the ground trembled with the echoes of distant explosions, Cinder stood before the Overlord's throne. The cavern was vast, its walls lined with glowing runes that pulsed with dark energy. The Overlord, a towering figure wreathed in shadow, leaned forward, his glowing eyes piercing the darkness. "Cinder," the Overlord's voice boomed, echoing through the cavern like thunder. "The mortal realm grows bold. Their walls rise higher, their defenses stronger. They believe themselves untouchable. It is time to remind them of our power." Cinder adjusted his brown aviator hat, the frayed edges fluttering as he moved. His skeletal frame was small and wiry, but his eye socket, marked by a jagged scar, gleamed with a fierce determination. At his feet rested his bomb, a massive sphere of iron and gunpowder, its fuse coiled like a serpent ready to strike. Cinder's bony fingers tightened around the fuse as he listened to the Overlord's words. "You will lead the charge," the Overlord continued. "Break their walls, shatter their confidence, leave nothing but rubble and fear in your wake." Cinder's skeletal grin widened, his teeth gleaming in the dim light. He picked up his bomb, the weight of it familiar and comforting. "It will be done," he rasped, his voice like the crackle of a dying flame. With a final nod to the Overlord, Cinder turned and marched out of the cavern, his fellow wall breakers falling in line behind him. The portal to the mortal realm shimmered like a pool of molten silver, its surface rippling as Cinder and his fellow wall breakers stepped through. The night air was cool and crisp, a stark contrast to the oppressive heat of the underworld. Before them stood the fortified village, its walls towering and imposing, lit by the flickering light of torches. The mortals had grown complacent behind their defenses, but they had never faced a wall breaker like Cinder. Cinder adjusted his aviator hat, the brim casting a shadow over his scarred eye socket. He tightened his grip on his bomb, the fuse trailing behind him like a lifeline. His skeletal feet pounded against the ground as he charged, his eye socket fixed on the nearest wall. Behind him, the other wall breakers followed, their bombs gleaming in the moonlight. The mortals sounded the alarm, their shouts echoing through the night. Archers took up positions on the walls, their arrows trained on the approaching skeletons. But Cinder didn't falter. He ran faster, his bony legs carrying him toward the wall with unrelenting determination. The first volley of arrows clattered harmlessly against his skeletal frame, and he let out a rasping laugh. "Is that all you've got?" he taunted, his voice carrying over the chaos. Cinder reached the wall, his skeletal grin widening as he lit the fuse. The flame crept closer to the bomb, its hiss barely audible over the chaos of battle. He didn't hesitate. With a final, defiant laugh, he pressed himself against the wall and waited. The explosion was deafening, a roar that shook the ground and sent chunks of stone flying in all directions. The wall crumbled, reduced to rubble in an instant. The splash damage knocked nearby defenders off their feet, their screams drowned out by the blast. Cinder's aviator hat tumbled to the ground, the only remnant of his existence. The other wall breakers didn't pause. They charged through the gap in the wall, their bombs at the ready. The mortals' defenses were in disarray, their confidence shattered. Cinder had done his job. As the battle raged on, one wall breaker stood out. This one carried a golden bomb, a symbol of its upgraded power. The bomb gleamed in the firelight, its surface etched with intricate runes. The wall breaker charged toward the village's inner walls, its skeletal frame moving with purpose. The mortals tried to stop it, but their arrows and spells were useless. The wall breaker reached the wall and lit the fuse. The explosion was blinding, a flash of light that illuminated the entire village. When the dust settled, the inner walls were gone, reduced to a gaping hole. The mortals fled in terror, their defenses in ruins. When the dust settled, the village's walls lay in ruins. The wall breakers had done their job, their bombs reducing the once impenetrable defenses to rubble. The mortals fled in terror, their complacency shattered. In the underworld, Cinder's aviator hat was placed on a pedestal, a symbol of his sacrifice and the wall breaker's unrelenting determination. The overlord looked upon the hat with a rare smile. "Cinder," he murmured, "you have done well." The other wall breakers gathered around the pedestal, their skeletal frames bowed in respect. Cinder's laughter echoed through the cavern, a reminder that even in death he had the last laugh. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this thrilling tale of Cinder and the Wall Breakers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss the next chapter as we dive deeper into the battles, mysteries, and sacrifices of the underworld. Will the mortals rise again, or will the wall breakers continue their relentless march? Stay tuned to find out.